We're live on Spiritual Psychics TV with Paul Bannister and his guests for Spiritual Talk.
Hello everyone and welcome to our home here at SPTV. Yes, you're watching Spiritual Talk and tonight we have another brilliant guest. But guys, can you do me a favor? You know, our guests come on for free and SPTV is a free service, and the information that we share out there to people, and some of the mediums we have on are some of the finest around. We'd love you to share it out there. Get sharing, please. Come and support us. We'd really love your support. So guys, what are you up to? Where are you tonight in the world? Thank you for joining us here on SPTV. Let us know where you're coming in from. It's good to be back. I've got another great guest and I'm really excited because there's a particular topic with my guest tonight that I'd also like to talk about. So I'm pretty excited. We've just been talking about that subject now. I'm just waiting for your comments to come up. I'll hit hi Terry. Good to see you. Let me know where you're coming in from. Margaret, hi Margaret. Margaret O'Brien's coming in. She already knows, the secret's out, who my guest is. Yeah, it is. We have been advertising it all day, absolutely. Hi Paul Cook, good to see you. Yeah, it's great to see you. And Lou's here as well. I love that cat, Lou. It's a great picture of the cat. But yes, guys, let us know where you're coming in from as well. And please, we'd love it if you can share us out as well. Get as many people on to listen to our great interview. Hi, Lee. It's great to see you. Where you're coming in from. And we've got Richard in the background as well, who keep us going, streaming live onto Facebook and YouTube. And Susan's put, hi Susan. Good to see you. Let us know where you're coming in from. And Helen, hi Helen. She's coming in from Wiltshire, the lovely Wiltshire. Beautiful down there. I'm up in Norfolk, so that's why I said down there. And Karen, hi Karen. She's coming in from Kennington, southeast London. Is that rather posh there, Karen? I'm not sure. Anyway, we've got Amy as well. She's coming in from Oregon. Great to see you, Amy. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to hit that share button and get us out there. We'd really appreciate it. Hi, Chrissy. She's put, hello, Mr. Bannister and everyone. How are you all this evening? Well, we're all good. We're all excited and can't wait to interview our guest. Hi, Chris. I can't pronounce that. Augsburg, Germany. Augsburg, Germany. It's great to have you joining us, and we've got Christine as well. Hi, Christine. Thank you for coming on. I was saying, guys, don't forget to share us out as well. We really appreciate it. I'm sure the Gardeners Club won't mind. If you're sharing it into the Gardeners Club, I'm sure they won't mind. You never know. You never know who could be interested in our subject matter. Hi, Karen. Hi, Karen. She's coming all the way from New Zealand. I should say good morning. It must be morning. Hi, Nicola. She's put, hi, Paul. Good to see you. Yeah, so let's get our guesting, ladies and gentlemen. So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we have a medium. Oh, I'm just going to mention Suzanne's coming in as well, all the way from Egypt. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Let me introduce my guest tonight. And we have another great guest. And some of you might recognize our guest. She has been on SPTV before. Also, she had an appearance on Channel 5 today. I'm just going to throw that out there. So check that out. Our guest is Anita. This is what I've got to pronounce, so I could be in trouble. Panayiotis, psychic medium, nature lover, but also an animal communicator, which I'm super excited about to talk about tonight. Hello, Anita, and welcome.
Hi, Paul. Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
Oh, it's a pleasure. And again, it was my friend, your friend Kerry, that got us together. So I really appreciate it. Hi, Kerry, if you're listening.
Hi, Kerry.
And so, psychic medium and so much more. I know you're a great medium. You have a large following. But do you mind if we kick off talking about animal communication?
No, because that is my passion, to be honest, Paul. I mean, I love all the work that I do and feel blessed to do the work that, we are able to do. But animals have always been, since my earliest memory is around animals.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And guys, if you've got a question you'd like to ask Anita about animal communication or mediumship, it doesn't matter. Ask away. We'll come back to you. We'll try to get those questions in as much as we can. So one of the things I wanted to talk about, and we talked about this, and I again I kind of wondered if I heard this properly. I heard a professor on a national radio show talk about the evolution of animals, and dolphins and whales. They were once they tried to evolve on land, but decided to go back into the sea. That is pretty amazing. I'm still trying to get my head around that whole concept. So in terms of animal communication, it's going to sound a bit weird me asking this, Anita. Do you have that kind of communication? If you would you need to just, how would you connect to a dolphin? Say, I kind of feel that's a stupid question. I really feel like I shouldn't have asked that.
No, not at all, because after for me, it's what I do, so it just seems not normal, but it's just what I do. But
Yeah,
animal communication, every single species communicates in some way, shape, or form.
yeah,
Be it for scent, pheromones, sound, vocalization, and it's with animals, we're all sentient beings, whether, and even like a simple creature, still a sentient being to some degree. It will still have some intelligence. So yes, we can communicate with dolphins, or any wild animal to come to that, because it is a language of thoughts and feelings, and we all have thoughts and feelings. And what I love about animal communication is, when we think of say for a domesticated dog or a cat, for example, and the emotion of joy has the same frequency for us as it does for the dog and for the cat and for the horse. So we work on energy, massively on energy. But when we talk about communication with animals, it's sometimes easier to skip it into like the scientific part of it as well.
Yeah. Now, guys that are sitting at home with their dog beside them, or their cat, or whatever their pet is, how would they know they're getting a communication if they set out, just sitting there, maybe stroking the cat or the dog? How do they know they're getting these thoughts and information from their loved one, their loved pet?
Well, our animals are speaking to us all the time. Our animals, especially say with the dog and the cat in our homes, and watch us so much. And the trouble is with most human beings, we don't stop and listen to what they're trying to say to us.
Yeah,
And again, often, as you know, being a medium yourself, Paul, it's that trust element, and when you know your own animal very, very well, or if you're reading with someone you also know well, it's like you think, it's my mind. I knew that anyway,
yeah,
must be my mind. And that's
yeah,
a lot of it when we're with our own pets as well. It's their mind coming in.
yeah. And that can be the block for me. When you realize is it your mind? Is it them speaking? And that's a big hurdle to get through. But well, generally, the cats I've always known, they've always asked me for food. Hey mate, come on, get off the kitchen, get some nice tasty treats like some tuna or something. Guys, let us know questions you'd like. Also, Anita, do you look at the kind of holistic approach with the animals healing as well?
Completely, yeah. I mean, I think it's like anything. You fit mind, body, soul, and spirit, and often animals are no different. Often if something's taking place, like emotionally and mentally, it will have an effect on their like anxiety, for example. And where animals, again, not so much the wild animals, but domesticated animals, they are so mirrored to their human. They often have the same ailments as their human, because they're so closely connected to them. And so yes, it's
Brilliant.
yeah.
Krish has asked a brilliant question. Hi, Anita. So good to see you. What is the difference between and similarities between animal communication and communicating with humans in spirit? Great question.
Good question. When we talk about animal communication, it's literally we as a communicator, we have a communication either with the animal in the physical body, still here,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
obviously in the spirit side of life. So when the mediumship comes in, it's no different communicating with, say, an animal in spirit, whereas it would be with a human in spirit. Where it differs slightly, and it's not the actual mediumship itself. Animals have far less baggage than humans do. We have so much baggage, ifs and buts and whys, and that doesn't seem to change too much on the spirit side of life either, as they come through, the essence of your mum, your dad, or your brother who's coming through here. But animals, it's much more simplistic with the mediumship from the animal over there. But you still get memories, shared memories, and how they felt and who they're with also up there. So from communication point of view, mediumship is no different. It's just a little bit more simplistic.
And also, is there, sorry to keep just asking questions, I kind of take advantage of the situation having a guest, but is there a difference in the actual vibration of the love? Because dogs love, I mean, dogs, cats, our pets love us unconditionally. Do you actually, is that palpable? Is that something you can sense, that love for that person?
Yes, completely, because as you said, animals they do love completely unconditionally, and they are so forgiving as well, because a lot of the animals I work with say rescue dogs, rescue cats, rescue horses, and some of those animals have been badly abused by their previous people. They still have that element of trust and want to be loved and be in a new home. So
and to please, yeah. Yeah, it's so childlike and so pure in terms of their love. Hi, Alison. Alison's asked, I would love to know if my dog Marley is still alive. Has anything she would like me to know? Is there anything she would like me to do for her? Did I take good care of her when she was injured? Does she see spirit at night? She always started barking when I go to bed. So I'm assuming, Alison, that Marley's on spirit side of life. And oh, is she still here? I just read that wrong, haven't I? Oh yes. Okay. Sorry, I read that wrong. So, and how Marley feels. But how about touching, Anita? Would that help Alison to connect with her dog, feeling the dog's energy through touch?
I wouldn't say no, because again, with animal communications, we are unique the way we all work. But I personally would say no. The reason being I would say no is my background, was a professional dog trainer, and still obviously have all that information to myself.
Yeah.
So if you've got an animal there that is anxious, worried, barking, and you're putting your hand on it, you're actually encouraging it to do more.
Yeah.
So sometimes you have to address each situation with what's in front of you. So an animal that's actually sounds very anxious, very worried, very stressed, it's better off to try and redirect what's taking place rather than trying to communicate with the animal while it's in that state. You're better off to communicate with it when it's more relaxed, calmed down, because then you can connect with what's underlying, underneath. Like you think someone's on a panic attack, a human, you can't get to the bottom of that panic attack until after it's passed.
Yeah.
And it's no different with animals.
Yeah.
So the animal is calmed down, rested and settled, she could then sit there and connect with the animal, and at that point put the hand on the animal, because by then the animal is more relaxed and at peace.
Yeah.
Also, I think it's important to say, Paul, when it's our own animal, I'm not saying you can't connect with your own animal, because you can very, very, very clearly. But when major things are taking place in an animal's life or your life, it's very difficult for the human to actually the emotion is too close, too attached. So, for example, many, many years ago, when I'm still married, just about, my husband lost one of my dogs over the forest.
Oh.
And she was gone missing for 5 days, and we got her back. But at that time, it was so difficult to try and connect and find her myself, because I was too involved, too close, too upset, too emotional. So some aspects, when we're too close to the animal, it's difficult to actually get a true picture of what's taking place, because our emotions get in the way.
Yeah. Alison's put, she's a very good watchdog, so I don't know if she sees a spirit or if she's barking to call me back downstairs.
Sounds to me she's barking to call Alison back downstairs to be with her. What it sounds to me.
Yeah.
Sure.
I do like to be beside your side. I looked after a friend's husky in lockdown, and that was an experience, not ever having a dog. And the dog was so intelligent, so just an amazing experience. But if the dog could, it'd want to come to bed with you. I'll be up, and it's huskies are big. This husky is really big Frankie was good. I used to take him out on my bike, but you could kind of, there was this. Obviously, I connect to spirit, etc. But I believe I connected to this dog because there was this kind of, I don't know, just like a connection I had with the dog. I knew when he was going to go after a rabbit and he was going to pull my arm out of my socket. It was amazing. But it was an interesting experience. And something else I wanted to ask you in terms of souls as well. Do you believe that human souls, we can incarnate as animals? Because we had a gentleman that does incarnation. But I wanted to talk. Oh, look at that! Chris has just asked that question. Somebody did ask that question, that can we come in or be reincarnated? Because I know people that said, I swear that my dog used to be a relative of mine, the way it behaves. I find that really interesting.
Well, my belief, my philosophy is that our soul is limitless.
Yeah.
So why we keep coming back as a human being when there's so many other experiences to have, for example? And I truly do believe, species do cross species. So say human could be next time around a cat, could be a mouse, could be a dog, and likewise the dog could come back as a person. It could come back as a cat. We're not just limited to this form here. This is just, as you well know, Paul, it's just our overcoat, our body. And again, to take it a little bit higher, a little bit deeper, if we talk about true ascension and how many times we ought to relive this incarnation down here on this particular dimension, we'd need to experience a lot more different vulnerabilities to be able to truly ascend, is what I believe.
Okay. Why do you also think guides adopt a power animal, the term power animal? And I know plenty of people have asked me this question in the past. Why do you think that is, in your opinion, Anita, please?
Well, I do know that we are, and I know it makes no. It's, for me, my power animal would be the wolf, which sounds very generic for a lot of people. But we're all born with what is called a totem animal or a power animal, and the power animal will stay with us through this incarnation. Sometimes the power animal or the totem animal can sort of be also through the lineage of the family. So, for example, in my family, we are massive dog lovers. It goes back to my dad and his family and so forth. So the wolf, then, because the dog has sort of, over years is transformed into the dog, the wolf is our lineage power animal. That's not to say all people will have that lineage the same, maybe cats, horses, dogs, but how we find that power animal, because people say to me, how do we know our power animal? It's often if you go back as a child and the animal that really fascinated you most as a child will normally be the animal that was your power animal you came in here with. And the power animal is really, we can call upon the animal at any time we need. So, for example, just when it's like the dog, you feel you want protection, you call your power animal to come to be with you, and they do share insights with you. Like any guides, they're not here to tell you what to do or to live your life for you. They're here purely to guide you. And then we have the other, is just the spirit guide animal, which can come in at various times of our life. You may get one just for 3 weeks. You may get one just for 4 months, or like you get one for a couple of years. And the power animal stays with you. The spirit guide animal comes in at fleeting times. And for example, for me, I often see, like if I see a squirrel more than 3 times, I know it's a sign for me to say. It says to me to not say to rest, but to enjoy what you've created.
Yeah, that's
So,
interesting.
and it's like so you might see, I know, just for example, goats around you, and these don't have to be literally, because you could say to me, well, I live in the middle of London, I'm not going to see a goat, I'm not going to see a cow anywhere. But often these images can come online, they can come on the TV, you might see a magazine, see an image on the wall. So just be mindful, if you see a particular animal image more than 3 times in a quick succession, that's an animal spirit guide that's coming for you at that particular time.
Oh, that's interesting to know. I did see a question from Donna Jackson. Hi, Donna. Donna's asked, she asked the question, do you believe that animals are reincarnated?
100%. And I have a returnee with me right now, and I couldn't make it up. I'll tell you the story. I had a number of years ago this wonderful Doberman called Jimmy, and he was a chocolate Doberman, and he was a wonderful dog, but he was the most naughtiest dog you could get. Like if you could do something naughty, he'd find it to do. And he passed over. And I've got another dog. I noticed it straight away. Different species, different breeds. She's a Pharaoh hound and different sex. And first of all, didn't notice the similarities. But as she started to get sort of 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, she was so the Jimmy reincarnated. Every single little trick that he used to do, she was doing. And the final piece of confirmation for me was my Jimmy was very allergic to fish, and if he had to have EpiPen for the allergy, and she too is allergic to fish.
Wow.
So you couldn't make that up. So it's
that's very interesting. Very interesting concept. There's another question as well, Richard, the one before, just after Donna. I don't know if you can see, that was also another great question. Let's see if we can find that. Oh, was it a statement? Okay. Well, Oh yeah, okay. Hi, Rebecca. Rebecca has asked, Anita, how do you know if that my dog is in pain, please? That's a great question.
That's a very good question. And again, with some animals, they can have like what is called high pain threshold, so it may not necessarily be visible when you're looking at them. Other animals, I've got one particularly. I do have 9 dogs, by the way.
Nine,
Dogs.
9 dogs. So you're a charity, Anita, or?
I'm not. I'm a nutcase. So, but one of my dogs, the fault you're going to touch her, she's always screaming. So that a dog will have a different, or a cat will have a different varying degrees of their pain threshold. But often I would say to you, if you're as a communicator, I don't diagnose. I'm not a vet, but we can tap in to find out where that pain stems from, what is taking place, the levels of the pain. But as the human, as you're sharing your life with, I would suggest with a dog, if you look at the dog, and normally dog when they're showing pain, they may find you be a bit thirsty. Like someone can be panting, and it's not necessarily that hot, but also you may see them visibly it's just shaking slightly. So it's not a full, it's not a seizure, but just slightly shaking. That would often be a sign the animal's in pain.
Ah, okay, okay. And can we heal them? Is there something that people can do at home that are not necessarily understand that process of healing?
I personally believe we do not all need to be. I am a healer, but I do feel we don't need to be trained in a specific area of healing to give healing. Personally, if you think of a mother and picks a child who's fell over and you rub it better and give it a kiss, it makes that child feel better. Or friends, distressed, you put your arm and give them a hug, it makes them feel better. Healing takes place, in many forms. And I believe as long as your intention is correct and perfect to help the animal, then yes, you can give healing to your animal. And I do believe it truly helps. And what you'll find, whether you're trained in Reiki or spiritual healing, you place your hand upon the animal where you feel there's discomfort, you will find it will start to present that part of the body to you where it actually hurts. It will know it's in healing. On that topic, I will say though, it's very important that we respect because I don't like to use the word own the animal because it's more of a sharing of our lives, but because you may see yourself as owning an animal, you don't have the right to just suddenly say, I'm going to give you healing and plonk your hand on the animal. It's respect. And it's always letting the animal know first, whether you want to speak out loud or mind to mind, that I'm going to offer you healing. Is that okay? If the animal is okay, it will just stay there. If it walks away, it doesn't want it.
Yeah, yeah. And I just want to say, well said. I was always told by my guide that one of the secrets of life is your intention. So in setting the intention to give your dog healing is pretty much all you need. And yeah, oh gosh, I missed the comment. The lady also came back on it, last lady, and said that her dog has given her so much healing, she'd like to give her something back. How beautiful is that?
Animals are massive healers and massive empaths. And that's why often the animal takes on their humans' ailments, because they are absorbing and want to help their human to heal.
I know a lot of people find comfort in their pets, especially around the loss of a loved one, but it's not just because they're lonely, but they just give so much love and company to that person. Oh yeah, there it is. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you for that question. I hope that helps as well, and I hope you're successful at giving your dog healing. This is an interesting one from Barefoot Bystander. Great, I love that name. When I'm on a circle in Zoom, my cat puts her nose on the square of the person who the message is for. Now, that's a very intuitive cat. Very intuitive cat. Yeah. And now, is it true what the Egyptians used to say about cats, Anita? I don't know if you've ever heard of some of the stories from ancient Egypt about cats and how spiritual they are and how they used to worship the cat. Obviously, you've got the Sphinx.
No, cats were very revered by the ancient Egyptians, and I do completely believe the stories. And I know back in the ancient Egyptian times, they would have had their own designated cemeteries to bury the cats in as well. So they didn't just necessarily be buried with their pharaohs or their masters. They would have passed and been laid to rest in a special cemetery because they were revealed for their magic powers and the healing that they came with them.
Yeah, Debbie, I'll come back to you in a second. There was another question we had, Richard, which was a great question. Someone asked a question: do we join up with our pets when we pass over? And the reason why that is such a great question as well, because I know mediums that don't believe that the spirit world and the animal kingdom are something that kind of can intermingle. I think it's all part of the whole. Personally, that's my personal belief. But some people believe it's completely separate.
Well, if we go back to the idea that the soul is limitless,
Yeah,
why would we not meet with our loved ones?
exactly.
And also, when we think of the soul, if it can, which again, which I do truly believe, if we, it can be human, it can be dog, it can be butterfly. Again, when you go to spirit side of life, it's all going to be there.
Yeah.
And from my own mediumship, many a time I've seen the animal, the dog, with other dogs, other cats, and family members meeting their animal when they come over there.
Yeah, yeah. It's
reunited.
It's a beautiful thing, and some of the messages you get. I know a lot of horsey people that have had a horse for 20 odd years. Absolutely, same well, dog owners. I don't want to kind of create any disparity, but with yeah, horsey people, they suddenly the horse comes in. I've had these kind of messages, and they're so excited. It's the same love for a loved one. And in actual fact, I've known it where people have been more excited that the pets come through than their loved ones.
Yes, I've had more tears with the dogs come through, or the cats come through, than the same when someone else has come through on occasion.
Yeah.
But when I first started my journey, I remember that animal communication journey. I remember a talk I went to, and they said that animals' souls, they are collective. They're rather than the dog being a soul by itself or a horse being a soul by itself, they go to like a cloud. And I thought, that don't feel right. Just what really upset me, because I thought my dogs are not just part of another like a kennel of dogs up there. They are a soul being in their own right.
Yeah.
And they have that to be. So when you do see them over there, yes, they come through just like we saw them down here. And what I love when I do my animal communication readings, especially some when animals passed over, end of their life, is they're not well, they've suffered, maybe a decision's been made. But the first thing they do is they come through, they show themselves fit, healthy, and well.
Yeah. So what come first for you? I'll come back to the other question as well. I skipped. Sorry, Richard. What come first for you then? Thank you. I'll do, Debbie. I'll come to you in a sec. Was it mediumship or was it animal communication?
I have to say, it was animal communication, because it was, as a small child, I don't think you really realise what it's about or what is. And I didn't grow up in a family that was animal loving family, but not what I do now. And I remember sort of being quite small, making my mum go out and, like, if there was a dead animal in the garden, making her pick it up and bury it and put it, that sort of thing. So it really was the animal communication first, and then, like, you take the normal route. You go through your teens and you sort of career and meet someone, and I became a professional dog trainer. And it was that time working as a dog trainer that I began to realise that I could connect and communicate with the dogs specifically. And it went on from there. And it was quite a funny story, really, because we had this particular lady who used to come in every week, and she had I can see this dog to this day. It's a beautiful black and white collie called Teddy, and it was a rescue animal. And the woman spoke a very good talk. She was doing this, she was doing that, and every week would go away and give her like a plan to help the dogs progress, and didn't understand any English. And every week she'd come back, that didn't work. And so each week I try a new package and give her something else to go home and try, and she'd come back, no, it didn't work. So I give her a new package, and I ran out of ideas. And I looked at the dog one day, and I was trying to think, what should I say to give to her to do next? She went to me, and the dog went to me, she's lying. She's not telling you the truth. So that was the first. I thought, and I realised then that they have the ability to really be able to communicate with us.
Wow. Just coming to Debbie's question quickly. I was told I am an animal healer and I have a spirit panther alongside me. I don't understand why that is. And how do you know if cats are seeing spirit? I think my cat does. A couple of questions in there.
Animals do tend to see spirit very clearly. So if what was the lady's name?
Debbie.
Debbie. So if Debbie feels that her cat can actually see spirit, I would suggest that her cat is definitely seeing spirit, because they have, again, they've not all that elements of questions to ask when they see something. They just see it, feel it, and know it. And cats are very, very highly intuitive, picking up on the spirit essence as well. So I would say yes to Debbie that. Regarding the panther, see, again, when we look at the totem animal and the animal guys that come in here, Debbie obviously is a cat person. She's got a cat sharing a life with. So the essence somewhere, that cat that's coming with her, works with her. If you think of the feline kingdom and the freedom and the power and the strength, and then Debbie wants to sort of sit and think with that, not just the panther, but the feline family and how that resonates with her working with her her healing.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Yeah, thank you for that, Debbie. I really appreciate it. Guys, don't forget to keep sharing and don't forget to keep asking your questions. We'd love to hear from you tonight. So how did you then go on to develop your mediumship? Was that something that just came alongside animal communication? Because one of the things that you do describe yourself online is a nature lover as well.
Yeah, I do love nature, and I'm very fortunate. I do live again fairly near to Epping Forest, the forest area, so it's on my doorstep. And I don't think I could ever really move away from being in the forest and just even like being out in the garden, it just being at one with nature. And I think like anything, it's even small amounts of time outside. If you get outside in nature, for all of us, it makes such a difference to our own well-being, is what I really believe. And I think the more I sat outside, all out throughout the year, from a young age, I'd be outside making mud pies, and also the more I could be involved with nature, the more I felt happier in myself. And I think it's just where that oneness of being outside and seeing not just the domestic pets, but the beauty of the wildlife as well. It's a big passion for wildlife and work in conservation area. So it's very interconnected, really.
Now, I'm going to ask a selfish question, and I'm going to come to Krish in a minute. I'm not going to dodge that question because that's a great question, Krish. Thank you for that. One of the things I wanted to ask, actually, no, I'm going to go straight to it, actually. I'll come back to, there's a reason why I'll come back to it. Dear Anita, about 10 years ago, I was forced by the vet to put my baby Leo, my Siamese kitty, to sleep. How do you feel about the controversial topic of animal euthanasia?
It's an excellent question, and this is an area I'm actually working a lot with my communication, and my biggest feel is that animals should not be allowed to suffer, because they get to that point when, when is it one day too long? And I still know that even if animals are euthanized, they will still go over to spirit side of life. It's not a case of their soul still survives, it still is taken over there. But sometimes we see animals that are just, are so, I've witnessed it, and my brother's dog being one of them. It was so, couldn't let go, and the dog needed to be let go. And I think when you get an animal that literally, it's unable to stand, it's unable to relieve itself, are we being fair? Yeah. And lots of animals that I do work with, ideally, would like to pass naturally.
Yeah.
And if that can happen naturally, fantastic. But it's not always possible, because sometimes the heart is so strong that it's not the will to live, just their heart is strong, healthy, but the rest of the body is not. And then we have sometimes animals where, the soul and the will is so strong they don't want to go. And I've had one, it was last year, she was nearly 18, 19, and she didn't want to pass. She wanted to pass naturally. She got her blessing. She was able to do that. But it was monitoring her literally daily, because when the animal starts to really suffer, then I think we need to make a decision, I will be honest.
Yeah, it's a tough and difficult decision. And Siamese, they're beautiful. I know they're unusual, but they can be really. I came across two the other day that went onto my car. They were absolutely gorgeous. But the owner seemed that they very much stress her out. But they're beautiful. I know you teach, Anita, and you do many different types of mediumship. Oh God, I really shouldn't be asking this, but I'm going to kind of cheat because
I don't mind.
I wanted to know, is there something I could, because I often get animals that come alongside their owners, and it could be that child has got a memory of grandmother with the Yorkshire Terrier. How can we develop, because sometimes I don't even know what breed that is. How do we develop or deepen our connection to the animal? Is it something that's very similar to our human, the soul connection, or is it something a little bit different?
I think what the good point you said there about you don't know what to say. Let's say we need to have it in our own mind what certain dogs, cats look like. So again, you don't know what a Yorkshire Terrier look like. So if it showed itself, and you're not sure, does it matter? You bring the essence of the animal through. So you
Okay.
may feel small dog, big dog, or and quite often you get a small dog with a big personality. It's quite often, you know.
Yeah.
So street, look for the. It's nice if you know your breed, bring the breed through. If you don't, doesn't matter, because people are not looking for that. You know, I've got the German Shepherd here. You know, someone say, "Oh, that's my dog," but it's better to bring through the essence of the animal, like you mean you're doing anyway.
So
And
so you don't think, sorry to interrupt you don't think it's part of the memory of the person? So when I'm linking to, say, Granny with the Yorkshire Terrier or the Scotty, um, is it her memory or am I actually connecting to the dog?
you're connecting with the dog, I would say to you.
Okay.
You know, complete. And you could even say, I mean, you could even, because when I do animal communication, how it works, I often work with photographs, and I work with the animal's the energy of the animal's name, whether they're in spirit or in the physical body. So if you're working with a client and you brought through the little Scotty dog, and they say, "Oh yeah, my granny's dog," you could actually even say, "There's no harm in saying, what was the dog's name, the
Yeah.
cat's name," and then tap into the name of that animal, because you know often it's that energetic connection as well that helps to bring through more of those memories from the animal. But I would say to you, Paul, that you've got the granny there, and again, our animals are so connected in our lives. Even though that dog's been over there many years, it's still the memory of the family. It comes through.
Yeah. Okay. Here's a strange question for you. So Alima, I'll come to you in a second. I can see your question. It's a great question. But I keep getting a dog come in that no one can take. And I don't know what this is. And it pops in and I'm okay, it's my mind. It's my mind. I keep getting a Labrador called Lucy. And I have no idea. Like I said, the dog that I looked after was oh, it's gone right on my head. Husky, thank you, in my head. That's my age, I think. Anyway, the husky that I was looking after, but I've never had a dog. So why do I keep getting this dog come into my energy, this Labrador, and I believe her name is Lucy.
She couldn't have lived where you're living now, could she, before you went there?
Oh, that's a good point. I hadn't thought of that. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Don't know why I didn't think of that myself. Very good point.
You could sit and chat with her, sit and ask her. She'll tell you.
Yeah, yeah. And I keep thinking, oh, she must belong to maybe the next person, next client's coming. No, everyone's like, no, no, no Labrador, no Lucy. Limo's asked a great question. Hi, Limo. I am a CST person. I think she means cat person.
Okay.
But you never know. But it is mainly dogs that speak to me and come for my healing hands. Why is that?
I would suggest it's not. Firstly, dogs are far more gregarious as beings. They're much more. They need humans. Cats don't need humans quite the same way. You know, they're around. You know, they love us, and it's still like that bond is still there. But it's a little bit of a different bond, so from a dog to the cat. And I would suggest, and I say this when I do teach actually to my students, because sometimes people are very familiar with, say, the dog or the cat or the horse. They tend to stay in their safety net. That's what they know, what they're familiar. And I know here in this case it's the opposite. It's more towards the dogs. I would suggest just sit, be open, without expectations, and you might find the animal, the cat, may come to her for healing. You know, it's rather trying to force it on the animal, which, as I said before, is intention, and maybe the intention aspect is not being done sufficiently for the cats. You know,
Okay.
a little bit more maybe time to, as dogs are more like, there, whereas a cat needs coaxing more. So maybe like regarding the healing of the cats, I would sit quietly, explain patiently, you know, a bit of time, and let the animal then come. And animals are always curious. The animal will come.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great information there. I hope that helps, Nemo. Okay. I do want to come into mediumship a little bit because obviously it's such a big part of what you do. Yes, animal communication is a massive love and passion, and you're a great animal communicator. But being a medium as well, in terms of how does that cross into, firstly, into connecting with our loved ones? How does it actually help you to connect, or was it just a natural transition?
Good question, because how it's my mediumship. I remember as again a very very small child, and I actually visibly, this is where I saw myself. Animals was my first. I was about 4 or 5 when I saw this child, and we lived in a very very old Victorian. It was like a pub off license, and we had this cellar. It was really spooky, and I went to go down every day with my dad. And there was this child dressed in Victorian clothing. At the time, I did not know what she was wearing. I could see her. Never seen it since, as solid as I see you now. And everything she went on, I can see the colour, I can see detail. She stood there in that cellar, and that's my first really of seeing spirit. But my family, I talk about it, and they just say it's your imagination. It's your
Of course,
as they do.
yeah. Clip round the ear I used to get, yeah.
And like, and so like I sort of pushed it to the side, but it never really went away. And then at school, again, I was I used to, like, where I grew up in London, sort of East London, and I was known as a gypsy, not being rude, but because I wasn't very intuitive about things, and it wasn't quite normal that you had to say things, and I suppose it was always there, but I didn't really bring it to the fore until I actually started to go for healing myself.
Okay.
It was I came into my mediumship really via the healer route.
Okay, interesting. Zoe's asked a great question. Let's quickly come back to Zoe. I sometimes pick up on humans that have passed, have reincarnated into animals. Has this ever happened to you, Anita?
Up till today, I'd say I'm not going to say. I'll say no, because I have to say my human says no. But maybe I've not been open enough to see it or feel it.
Yeah, that's an interesting concept. Thank you for that, Zoe. That really is. Can you imagine your granddad coming through with your next pet? You know, and if your granddad used to tell you off all the time, you're going to be in trouble. The dog's going to keep barking at you.
It's a good concept though, because I say my mind's not been open to that concept, but the seed's been there now, so it's something I will consider.
Yeah. And I wonder why Zoe has that impression and feelings. Maybe something we could have a bit more information on, Zoe. Is that something you've had naturally all your life? I know you said sometimes you pick up on it, but why? That's what I would like to know. Is there some kind of intelligence behind that? Why you would pick up on that you could tell the person, I feel that's your grandfather, you know? And that sounds like a marvelous gift to me, Zoe. I'd certainly harness that for good, or look to work with that. Maybe yourself, you're mediumistic yourself. Interesting. So coming back, by the way, if I'd have seen that Victorian lady in black, I think I'd have run away. And I remember watching in the 70s, oh gosh, like the Hammer House of Horror. There was oh gosh, I can't think what it was called. And there was a lady, a nun in a rocking chair. I saw it as a child, and that absolutely frightened me. And that was that. I kind of shut down a little bit to what I was sensing around me. And that's another thing. Did you fear spirit as a child?
I didn't until my family didn't do it purposely. It wasn't until like I saw things, then my parents would sort of say things, and then it scared me. Yes.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until it was their conditioning that then made me a little bit scared. And then what really spooked me, I will be honest with you, is I sneaked in at a very young age to see The Exorcist.
Oh, that's not good.
And I shouldn't. Yeah, that really was like, oh, that's all.
Yeah, there's a couple of versions of a new version. Russell Crowe does one at the moment. I'm kind of tempted to watch it, but I'm, never good. Yeah, it's all fear-based, and that's a real thing, isn't it? A lot of people. I know a friend of mine. Her mother took her to see a priest, when she was about 5. And correct me if I'm wrong. And he blessed her and said that, and it kind of put the fear into her, which stopped her mediumship progressing to a point. She's now doing really well as a medium, but at that point, it really did put the fear into her because of what she was saying and what she was picking up on.
Yeah.
It's a real thing that can really stop us. But going back to the animals quickly with this question, do you ever find, because we believe that animals potentially could see spirit, is there any fear within a dog or an animal that sees some unusual?
I would say Yes, to a degree, because again, it's just suppose you've got like the guarding type of dog there or animal there, and something's coming into their territory that's unfamiliar. I would say yes, it could. Yes, it would for me. I've seen it, so I would say yes, definitely.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Hi, Donna. Donna said, I heard my dog jumping off the bed, his claws hitting the wooden floor just for a few days after his passing. Why don't I hear him anymore?
Oh, bless him. Let me feel here why. I feel when they first cross over, it's obviously it's that they've got to get accustomed to being over there away from us, and likewise we've got to get used to them being away from us as well. And then when they're present still to be, especially if they're past a little bit, when I say quickly, it may be even like if there's decisions being made, it could be like a quick decision that's been made, so their presence still very much around you. I'd say now, I would say to again, it's just about sitting. It's like we can't have our spirit family with us all the time, can we? On our daily lives, they have to go on over there and involve and have a life on the spirit side of life. But I do feel here again, sit down with the intention to maybe in your mind say, Monday at 3 o'clock, I'm going to sit here and evoke him to come with you, and I think you can do that.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Don't forget, we have Bill Hughes coming up next. We're going to take a break in a few moments and we'll come back. Don't go anywhere. I don't know if Richard can hear me. Yeah, great. We're going to take a commercial break, guys, and we'll be back very soon.
MySpiritualDirectory.com is one of the fastest growing online free listing service. Our search directory offers geolocation feature, rating ability, review system, map location, customer comment, YouTube video, gallery, social media sharing, direct contact with the lister, simple online booking and payment system. It's free to register and use. It even creates your own mini web page, which you can update at any time, and yes, it's still free, no monthly or yearly fees. 100% free. Creates your own profile page. Add social media and other links. Add a mini gallery and a YouTube video. Rating, reviews and comments. Includes online booking and payments. So, if you're looking for a medium or a reader, even a church, maybe a healer, or any other spiritual service, then visit myspiritualdirectory.com.
Tonight from 8 p.m, Bill Hughes and his guest will be demonstrating their mediumship abilities with free readings to our viewers.
Hi everybody, welcome back to Spiritual Talk here on SPTV. We're joined here with my guest, Anita Panayiotis. I'm so sorry, Anita, I've just murdered that.
Panayiotis.
Panayiotis, thank you very much. So bad. Guys, we are speaking to Anita. Anita is an animal communicator and psychic medium and also teacher. Okay, do you actually teach around animal communication as well, Anita?
I do, and I'm actually, last year I put out a certified course on communication, which is certified through Bannister Insurance, if anyone's interested, and I've got a new taking place starting in January this year. We're fully certifiable, in January coming up this year.
Brilliant.
Or it's on my website if people's interested to do animal communication training themselves.
Oh, that's excellent. That sounds really exciting. Sharon has asked, I was told by a medium that my sister-in-law, who passed decades ago, has come back as a blue-tit bird who comes in our garden. The other day, a baby blue-tit came into our kitchen and let me pick up and put it outside and let me stroke it before it flew away. It was a wonderful experience. That's quite unusual.
Lovely.
Very unusual. I remember having one with an experience with a sparrow when I was child. Tried to bring it back to life. Long gone. Bless it, long gone. Barefoot bystander. What about unicorns? I think that's what she means. And other so-called mythical animals. Can they be validated within a message? Interesting.
Now I'm no unicorn expert, but I've got a wonderful friend who works with unicorns, and unicorns are fifth dimensional beings, and they choose to show themselves as unicorns to us.
I have actually seen a dragon.
Mm.
I wasn't drinking. I
Yeah.
wasn't drinking. Yeah. So a very small dragon.
Yeah, so
But
when you see those mythical creatures, they are
Yeah.
a bigger being, as in a fifth dimensional being that's come from a different plane, to what
Yeah.
we're familiar with. But they come and show themselves down here as the dragons or the unicorns.
Absolutely. We interviewed Dinah Cooper on here as well, who works with these creatures, animals. So check out that interview as well, Barefoot Bystander. Yeah, awesome. And because that's quite difficult when it's on a mythological level, when it's kind of like it's very symbolic, isn't it, when we get that kind of communication. But would that generally be within a message potentially about someone's life journey, experiences, etc., when they show themselves? It wouldn't just be because it's out of the blue, would it?
No, I do feel it come through for a specific purpose, for the life journey, maybe certain healings being required. I know that the unicorns especially work with the angelic race, so maybe there's like some angelic stuff taking place in a person's life, so they've come down for that. But they do come down for a very powerful healing. I do know that with the unicorns, they do come down here, as do the dragons as well. So when I'd say someone was taking major taking place in someone's life, if you're getting a visitation from a unicorn or it comes up in a reading.
Yeah, very, very powerful.
Also, I feel it's just how I feel. For children, especially, they're a great essence to it, the unicorn energy with children.
Yeah. So, Liz asked a quick question. Where did you see the dragon? Okay, it wasn't anything. It's a bit bizarre actually. It came from my solar plexus because I had to look twice. It was a red dragon, and I remember asking off it. I'm so lucky. I get to ask my guests all these lovely questions about what it was that I saw. And she said, "Oh, I believe the red is symbolic for protection." And at that particular point in my life, I was going through a difficult moment. And these things are only a moment. But yeah, it was kind of sight showing itself. It was around me. So interesting, very interesting. Listen, guys. I'm sorry. I'm someone who, like, I've growing up seeing is believing, etc., etc. You always have to have that air of skepticism about what you see. Is it my mind? Is what am I getting here? So for me to see a dragon and to admit it live on air, yeah, maybe I don't know. Maybe I am crazy, Anita, but I saw it.
I believe it.
It's all subjective to our own experience, of course, and we'd love to hear your experiences, guys. So keep those questions coming, and we love it. So, in terms of teaching us, you're doing a course next year. I'm really quite excited about that because I don't know anybody that does teaching animal communication. But Soma, I believe I'm. Oh, okay. I was just going to say, I'm just reading your question. I'm just going to quickly come to this Soma's question. Hi, Anita and Paul. We have been desperately looking for our cat Leo from the end of March. That's great because it's also prompted another question in my head. So, will we ever bring him back home? That's interesting. Have you ever been asked to look for lost animals? Because I was asked recently to look for a dog called Ben. I think it's Benny.
Lost animals is a massive area of work for the animal communicator, and it's probably the most challenging, to be honest.
Yeah.
And also it's especially when I do work with people who's lost an animal, it's managing expectations, A, of myself, and B, of the person who's looking for their animal, because it's a massive area we're working in. Firstly, when an animal goes missing, we need to find out if it's still here or it's in the spirit side of life. That's the first thing we need to find out. Then from there, it's like, so if I know the animal, I always, for myself, I like to get timelines. I mean, I work quite in depth with lost animals, and but say it's an area that takes up, it's time consuming. It can't be done quickly because animals, they move on. When an animal goes lost or is missing, often they're confused, they're upset, they're stressed, they're worried. So again, here you're not getting always necessarily the clear messages. Sometimes animals are taken, stolen purposely. To track them down. I've had cases where couples broken up, relationship breakup, and the other one's taken the custody battles over the animal, and they've taken the dog and disappeared. So it's a massive area of working in with lost animals and missing animals. So that question, the first thing is knowing as a communicator, is the animal here or is it crossed over?
Yeah.
That in itself, as painful as it is to say to someone, well, actually, I feel they've crossed over and I hope I'm wrong, it can bring comfort to know, well, actually, it has passed over, then looking.
Yeah.
Then saying that, sometimes animals that come back after like 2 years, 3 years, I mean, they do come back. So I'd say never give up hope when you've lost an animal. And again here, I would suggest that you do as much bombardment of advertising on Facebook, on social media, locally as you possibly can, and create a time. I always like a timeline when looking for an animal. So when was it last seen? You know, what led up to it. So for example, when I worked with it a while ago, a firework went off. Cat was in the garden, bolted. So I've got this timeline to work with, and then from that, I often douse as well. So I work. It's quite an in-depth area, Paul, because it could be all night, to be honest.
That's okay.
But I also do I work with grids. So I do remote viewing. I work with grids. I douse to find out on the coordinates where the animal may have tracked, where it may have gone, and then the human then has to go out and to go to those locations and look and and put their smell there, their scent there. So if the animal is, say, lost in the forest, your scent being around there can help to bring them back.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. That's really interesting. Did all that Simon's put. I'm sorry to hear that, Simon. We do hope, like Anita said, that you keep trying. And Sharon's asked, what is the success rate of finding an animal? Have you had a level of success with that, Anita?
I would say I've had a level of success. It's not always successful.
Yeah.
The last one I'd done was very recently, which was it's just even this fascinates me, to be honest with you, Paul. So it's not about my ego. It's just like, because you think, wow, a lady from America, she contacted me. And basically, as there's something happened in their town in the early hours of the morning, where a tanker went over and chemical was spilled, and they had to leave the house in the early hours of the morning for safety's sake, the whole town. And they gathered up, I think it was 2 dogs and a couple of cats, and they had 4 geckos. And they went to stay at our aunt's house for the spillage to be sort of cleared. Yeah. And in the meantime, they lost the son's gecko. And cut long story short, she contacted me. We worked, and we knew it was in the basement. It was in the house, in this basement where they were, and I knew I could smell high perfume. I could hear this clock ticking. I could see black material around me, and they stripped that place to pieces, and they found this gecko alive in the back of a speaker where a scented candle was, and the clock was ticking.
Oh, of course, because the back is big speakers, they have a hole in them.
And I said to her, because what I saw, part of it was wrong. What I said to her, I said I could see it getting under. I went under a door. I said I could see it get under a door, but it can't get back out again. She said, so when they looked at the speaker, there was a hole it could get into, but it couldn't get back out again. And that was missing for about 2 weeks nearly before they found it. Before she contacted me. And with any lost animal, if anyone's contemplating this. And it's not, don't come to, no, I'm saying come to me, but the quicker you contact someone to help you, the better.
Yeah. Oh, interesting grids. I've got a lady actually that might contact you, because she's been contacting me. I'm not an expert in finding animals at all. But I have had some communication with a certain person that went missing. It was a child actually, going back into 2003, I think. And again, this is not an area it's my expertise, but I keep getting visions and told and shown where this particular person is. And unfortunately, I just haven't given it time, but I want to work around that area, because it's such a powerful thing to find people. Is that something you could cross over with your animal expertise to humans?
It's funny you say that, because the people whose gecko that I found, she spoke to her friend whose father is now a retired detective, also in the States, and they've been looking for a lost body for about 20 years, if I remember correctly. And they asked me if I could, and I've literally almost, they've not found the body just yet, but we've got the area down to where by using grids. You know, it's a very, again, Paul, you've done this yourself. I have to be, when I say in the right space myself, because I had to connect with her first of all, to take to from her last in the bar she was at, in the car she got into, to where she went to, and there's only so much of that I can do myself at one time, you know, because it gets too intense. So then I have to stop and pause. But I got to where she was taken, and they know, and everything. It's all done so by the grids that I work with and the dowsing, and the detective knew the area very well, and he said that they know that another body had been found in that location as well at some point. So it's just they sort of now got to find the right spot to dig.
Yeah, and it can be really difficult, you know. I'm sure our viewers know people that have gone missing, and it is such a difficult thing. I know of a case where a medium told the police that the body was in a quarry. They dredged the quarry, there was no body. So again, it's just upsetting for everybody, and connecting it is such a big responsibility. Anna's asked a great question. Do you find using astral, she said protection, but I think she means projection. Am I right? Yeah, so projection. Does that make sense, Anita? Is that something that's possible? Is that something you do yourself?
I must admit, I don't do it massively myself. It's just time.
Yeah.
It does intrigue me, and I do feel again on the astral travel aspect, and I actually feel, again, it's not an area that I personally work in, but I feel here, you know, when we say astral travel in the dream state, the sleep state, I actually feel you can go off and find what needs to be found on the astral plane, on the astral level. Yeah. It's not for me. My brain is too. It's like busy, and I find it difficult. So when I do go to sleep, I go to sleep.
Yeah.
But I do, if it's very possible.
Yeah. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, thank you for that, Anna. Again, coming back to mediumship, I'm finding that animal communication and blending that with messages as well. Do you demonstrate to the public as well, Anita?
I do, yes.
And do you find that animals come in a lot with your messages, with communicators, the mums, dads? Do you find that interchange?
Yeah, I do. If I do a mediumship dem, it tends to be along the lines of what I've again, intention, what I've gone along to do. But then if the dog comes in, the cat comes in, that comes in, I do bring them in as well. But I don't stand up and say do an animal communication demonstration per se. I do them. I do them online, and they're great fun.
So you do them online. So that sounds something that I'm sure people would love to get involved in.
I do. I think I've done it for SPTV earlier in the year for animals.
Cool.
I've also done it for a couple of different psychic mediumship groups. So I tend to, when I'm doing, say, I can, but I don't often do mediumship, humans and animals at the same time. It just, I think people themselves get a bit confused as well.
Okay.
It's like, is it going to be a person fruit? Is it going to be an animal fruit? So I tend to sort of try and keep it a bit tailored for what I've been ordered for.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Animal comes through, I do still bring it through.
Well, people get confused with just when we're bringing loved ones through, regardless of then adding that added element of the dog or the cat or the horse. Richard just said he's confused all the time. Nature lover. When I say my dog say to my dog, where is Stan? My cat who passed, she always looks at the same corner of the room in the same spot where the cat passed. That's beautiful.
It's nice. Yeah, very nice. Beautiful.
Is that just an energetic blueprint of the cat that was there, the kind of energy of the cat that stood around, or the husk of the aura kind of thing?
I would say, let me see if we feel into that essence, because I feel again it's where I would say into that instant there, I say it's a bit of both. I would say yes, a bit of the blueprint there, it comes through, a bit of the husk that's there, the energy that's been left there, but also I do feel it does come, because again, if it does come through here, Stan does come through, I feel Stan does not want to stay there, he'd want to move around.
So here's a slightly different question. Now we know that with mediumship, I'm going to come back to you, Divine Empathetic Tarot, great name. When we communicate with spirit, do you know what? It's just gone right out of my head. I don't know what's going on tonight. I keep getting spirit coming into my head, and I've got a young man who was drowned in a swimming pool, and I don't know. I might have to give that at the end. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm getting distracted. I've got a young man with me that keeps trying to come in and communicate. Divine has asked the question. Yes, that's where my issue is, deciphering sometimes. So I just try to pay attention to the human. But if the animal comes in, sometimes I can't understand, but see it. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and if the animal comes in, on one occasion, I also mostly when I'm doing a mediumship demonstration, say for humans, I do bring through the essence of the loved ones first.
Yeah.
On one occasion, I just had the dog wouldn't go away. I had a big German Shepherd that came through, and it would not go away. So I thought, hey ho, just bring it through because it weren't going nowhere.
Yeah.
But that was only one. But mostly, if I've been booked for a dem, I will be doing my human mediumship. And if they're there, and they've got the dog that's also with them, or Granny's cat that comes in, then I bring that into the reading as well, to that particular link that I'm working with.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, thank you for that, Divine. I hope that makes sense. But it is like that when you've got something coming in the way. You have to give it, don't you?
You do, because it's just like, as much as I try to sort of say, no, not today. And no, it was there. It was not going nowhere. So I thought, oh, and it actually, when I did bring it through, and it made sense because it was who the dog brought through with them was was relevant. So the dog was there. They brought the person with them, that the dog came first.
Helen's asked a great question, actually. Quite often it's dogs and cats that come through, but do birds and fish come through?
Yes, they do. I regularly communicate with Lizard recently, the boss monitor, not so long ago. I've pretty much I've not worked with any spiders.
Actually, that was the question I was trying to ask you. That's one of the questions I wanted to ask you. What about I see a lot of spiders that are not there. What is that symbolic for? Any ideas? Because I know a lot of people see spiders.
Spider for me is a wonderful creature, and if you think of it, it's of how the web they weave, the web they create, and I'd say for you that is more of a spirit animal. It's telling you about creating your web and what you're creating around you.
That makes a lot of sense, because I do a lot of my work in this cabin that I'm sitting, and I live in a very beautiful part of the world. There's 2 nature reserves nearby. One's on RSPB, one's a Ted Ellis nature reserve down the bottom of the road here. So there's a lot of nature around me, and I can remember coming out in the summer to the cabin, and I had a torch. You know what it's like sometimes, it will highlight certain things. My whole cabin was covered on the outside with spiders. Spiders everywhere. I'm like, oh my god. I felt like I had to run into the cabin, shut the door quickly in case they come in. And I found some beauties in it. I've literally sealed everything in this cabin so they can't come in. But they do a wonderful job. It's not that I don't like spiders, it's just I just don't want them crawling all over me.
My brother's petrified of them.
Is he?
It's one of mine.
It always makes me laugh. Grown men running away from spiders.
Yes, he's petrified. But no, I just think for you, seeing so many, it's about that. If you look at the beauty of what is created from nothing.
Yeah.
That creation of that web.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense indeed. And also the web. What is the web? The spider is always building the web. If first you don't succeed, try again.
Yeah.
I'm always told I'm a trier.
Yes.
Anyway, moving on. Helen, so Helen's question, that was brilliant, because but even memories, my granddad's got a great picture of him with a parrot on his shoulder, and a large parrot as well. Hi Joe, the Croaking Shaman is here. Spiders, connections to everything and creativity. Oh, thank you for that, Joe. That's great. And again, creating what we do with Spiritual Talk here, I guess, is another part of that creative process. Guys, it's been absolutely brilliant tonight you're joining us. Any more questions before we move on? Because I want to know a little bit more about Anita and how she got on this journey into mediumship. Yeah, we've still got a little bit of time, so it'll be really great, guys, if you've got any questions about animals, because that's a subject that I really haven't covered much. Although I hope you don't mind me sharing this, Anita. There was a lady I interviewed back. The program or Spiritual Talk's been going for over 2 years now, and I interviewed a lady in America that's also a spirit communicator, and she used to be a police officer. And this story has stuck into my head. Now, she was in a very small provincial town somewhere. There was 9 police officers, and she was the only police lady. And had been called to a house where there was a domestic, and the husband was a little bit violent and he run off. And the police officers looked around the property looking for the husband. And apparently the cat told her, that's how she found out she was an animal communicator. The cat just said, He's in the shed.
Yeah.
So,
I 100% believe that, because that's how I first realised when that dog said to me at the dog club, she's not telling you the truth.
yeah, that is amazing, because apparently she had to go back to the station. They all asked, "How did you find him?" We'd given him up. We thought he'd gone away, but she said, "I didn't have the heart to tell them that the cat told me." you you can't write this stuff, can you? You really can't. I mean, we are so surrounded by magic, and I genuinely mean the magic of life and creativity, and we sometimes miss that. And I think it is an opportunity to connect with our animals and be present and be around them and what they're here for.
That's a perfect word you use, being present, because that's how we connect with our animals, is by being present with them.
Okay.
So whether you do animal communication or not, just being present with that animal will help you to connect with it and literally communicate with it on a different understanding than what you are. There's your dinner, there's your water, there's go for a walk.
So can I ask you a personal question, and you can tell me to go away and mind your own business? Are you a vegetarian?
I am. Yes, I am.
You know where I'm going with this, don't you?
You can take it where you like, I don't mind.
Yeah, okay. So it's just the whole, how do you feel about animals that are slaughtered for food? How do you feel about that? I mean, not so much necessarily Western culture in terms
I'm not being judgmental to anybody, all right? But I will tell you again, because I'm getting flashbacks here. I grew up in a family where meat and 2 veg was the standard norm.
Yeah.
If you didn't eat dinner, you ain't going out to play. We had a very fat sausage dog, is all I'm going to say. And feeding it. But my nan used to take me shopping with her, and then it was like, you never had the supermarkets when I was small. You'd go to the butcher shop, and to this day, I won't go into the visuals, but I remember it was all horrendous. I cannot to this day walk past a butcher shop full stop. It just makes I actually feel the pain of those animals.
Yeah.
My husband does the shopping. He moans about it, but I mean, and it might sound a bit extreme.
He's a good man.
He moans. Trust me. It was his fault. He told me he does it better than me, so I thought we'll get on with it then. And so, but literally, if I go to past the butchers, I cannot. It makes me feel unwell. Regarding, I mean, I know there's a food chain and people have to eat, and I have been a vegan. I am no longer a vegan, I will be honest, but I was a vegan before it became fashionable over 20 years ago, and it's a very difficult way to live your life.
Yeah.
And what I also, again, when people say to me like nowadays, "Oh, I'm a vegan," but you look down at their feet and they've got leather shoes on, they've got a leather bag. You're sorry, you're not vegan.
Yeah.
Because to be a vegan is the whole concept of you're not touching animal, offerings in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
So I think to really truly live the vegan lifestyle, and I admire people that do that. But it's very difficult. And I will confess, I still used to wear leather shoes. So I thought to myself, how can I call myself a vegan when I'm wearing leather shoes?
Yeah, okay, that's fair enough, fair comment. But in terms of, do you actually believe that we shouldn't eat meat at all, that we could be?
I truly feel we don't have to eat meat, and I do truly believe in future generations we will not be eating meat like we are now. I think people will evolve. They won't need to have the meat that we have in our diet now. I do feel now, so again, it's taking us a bit of a different direction. I feel meat does, as an energy form, it does ground people. It not just fills you up, it grounds you. And I think that the human race is in a massive need of grounding, full stop. So is that why they, and I won't judge anyone who eats meat. I'm not that kind of person, but I just feel here there's other options to explore. Now I'm married to a Greek, and they again, it's like if you ever see my big fat Greek wedding, it's like, oh, she's a vegetarian, oh, I cook you lamb. That punchline always makes me laugh.
Yeah.
But they will still have days where my mother-in-law, she lives in Cyprus, they have days where, and they're days of Jesus Christ days, they don't touch any animal produce at all. More for religion, but don't touch it.
Yeah.
So I think we can learn to live a different way.
Yeah.
But it's all about, like anything in life, education.
Yeah. And I went to Spain recently. Forgive me for saying, I went to McDonald's and they didn't do any vegetarian alternatives.
Yeah.
Really shocked. Hi, Kerry. Kerry Morgan. Hi. She's put, it's much easier nowadays, much more choice. Absolutely. I think the UK is doing really well with so many different alternatives.
It is.
And I've got to be honest, because I know my partner will be sitting at home going, "Come on, Paul, we need to fast up." So I went pescatarian for a year, and I slipped. I shan't, but I will go back because I feel like I need to try. Because I don't know if you notice this, but for me, I try not to eat meat for a few days before I work, especially demonstration, because it does. I feel my energy is denser. That sounds a really stupid thing to say, but that's how I feel.
Well,
So,
don't think, no, it's not stupid, Paul, because you said it. Meat is it's very ground. It does ground people.
yeah,
So it would make you feel denser because you're
Yeah.
more heavily grounded.
yeah,
But I don't condemn people. You know, as I say, all my family eat, apart from my son doesn't eats meat. So it's like then you've got the animals. Because it's another area we could open up, because people say to me, "Well, would you give your dogs vegan food?" Now you see, I'm not that enlightened to give them the vegan food. I feel they need to have meat, but I couldn't do the raw diet because I can't stand the raw meat.
yeah. It makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I just noticed for me, I was getting better connections and easier connections by not eating meat.
Mm.
Whereas I find it more denser and harder to connect, or I'd have to take a little bit more time to connect. There's
Yeah.
definitely something in the process of that, which then makes me wonder that maybe we shouldn't be eating meat at all. You know, that we can survive.
Well, I mean, I'm not again massive into evolution, but I think as said back in caveman days, we wouldn't have been eating the meat, would we? We'd be more about vegetation and plant-based food.
Absolutely. And there's an actual study at the moment by the Olympics Committee where athletes are only eating plant-based food.
Mm.
Finding it, because some people are saying, well, it's going to affect performance, but they're actually saying they're outperforming meat eaters, which is really interesting. So I think society will catch up. It will just like
I think it will. It'll take a long time to catch up, but I think it will catch up. And I think as like, you know, seem like my son, my daughter, their philosophy of like my son won't touch milk at all, full stop.
really.
Yeah, because, and I won't go into it because like the hormones pumped, he just will not touch. So we're for many years we've always been plant-based, like milk products. So we're sort of weaning away from it. But again, my husband, if he ain't got no meat on his plate, he's got no dinner. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah, absolutely. And that's I remember a time where like you say, that was really important, especially going back into recent history of the UK. My mum was born in 1940, and she's still alive and driving, by the way. Amazing, my mum. And she her father was away at war, but when he came home, it must have been about 46, 47, and rationing was massive then. They didn't have any meat. They didn't have a lot. They really had to scrimp. This is where I believe that most people grew their own vegetables, tried to be self-sufficient. But unfortunately, my mum had this white rabbit as a pet. And you know what I'm going to say?
I know this. Yeah, I do know what you're going to say.
Yeah, a lot of people did it, unfortunately. And she sat and had her Sunday dinner, and she asked her dad, "Where is my rabbit?"
Oh, it must have scarred her terribly, though, Paul.
Oh,
Sure.
it did. It
Okay,
did.
that's
It
for
really did.
your life, yeah.
Yeah. She supports Newcastle, so that says it all. So, okay, moving on. Sorry, guys, I'm only joking. We love you, really, Newcastle. Wonderful city, great football team. Yes, and we've got Rebecca here saying, I'm working towards a full alkaline plant-based diet as directed by my naturopath to get my health back. That's wonderful. That's great, Rebecca. Absolutely. So, Anita, what is next for you?
Oh, I'm one of these people. I'm not a numerologist, but I do have a numerology friend, and she tells me my life path number is number 6, which is all about communication and people around me. And then my entry number is number 5, which likes, I would say also adventure, but I always want something new. And so if I don't be honest, and I haven't even got it on the card yet, I'd love to write a book. Would be my next project, to be honest with you. But I ain't got a clue what I'm going to write about. So,
Always the way.
Work in progress.
Always the way. Always the way.
My next.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. So we'll look out for that. And when's your next time you're going to do an animal communication session? Is that going to be here on SPTV?
I've got dates booked up for next year, but I will be doing
Brilliant.
one next Friday for New Eddington Spiritual Centre. So it's Nash. New Eddington. It's on Zoom. It's online.
Oh, it's online. So how can we sign up for that?
And I think you just have to literally pop along to it. It's New Eddington. Literally, I don't know how many she takes on her Zoom there, but that's next Friday. It will be all animal communication readings. And I also have my own group on Facebook, which is Anita Panayiotis, Animal Communication with Anita Panayiotis. And I try to do a live in there about every 6 weeks, where I just do literally animal readings for people in the group.
Fantastic. And I give people the opportunity.
Yeah, and it's free of charge. There's no charge for it.
Yeah, Anita, fantastic. We can't say, well, big thank you to you. We can't say, thank you enough for coming on tonight. We're so glad and pleased that you're sharing your experiences with animals. I've got Spirit coming into my head. I don't know if I could do a quick message, Richard. Is that possible? Twist Richard's arm. Okay, so I don't know who I'm going to. I'm just gonna give this information. I've got a young man that would have drowned in a swimming pool that he's been buzzing around my head. And I don't know if you can see the comments, by the way, Anita. People are saying thank you so much. Anna's put fab listening tonight. She's off to work, so don't work too hard, Anna. I hope you have a good day at work. Okay, I've got a young man here that would have passed in a swimming pool, and I know he was life and soul of the party. I feel like I'm connecting here this evening because he wants to connect in here. He's been buzzing in my head, and it's really unusual because I'm quite tuned in to the SPTV when I'm interviewing and our guests, but this gentleman tonight has been trying to distract me all night, and I've been keeping him at bay, and I really want to give this information across. I know this young man, again, he keeps telling me about the parties. He had the party lifestyle. I also believe he was an engineer. I also know he's a brother as well, that as he brings his energy through. If anybody understands this gentleman that passed by drowning in a swimming pool, please. Helen's put, hi, Helen. So interesting. Thank you. Thank you for joining us, guys. I'm trying to bring the connection to this lovely gentleman. I do feel I want to go down your neck of the woods, though, Anita. Is this somebody you would know? Because I do feel like I'm connecting to Essex with this young man.
Well, I wouldn't know. There was a boy who did drown in the local swimming pool that I was at, but I didn't know him at all. I remember we had to clear the pool at that, so I can say it from that point of view.
Yeah, no, that wouldn't be the connection that I'm picking up, because I would say he's in his 20s. In his 20s, I see him as a young man. I see him abroad celebrating. I see him partying and enjoying himself. A very handsome young man indeed. And yeah, he was found in a swimming pool. It was after a party. It was a party celebrating.
Up on that Michael Barrymore story, are you?
What? Do you know? I was given. I did pick up the name Michael. Is there any connection to you with this Michael then?
It's not far from where I live, to be honest with you. And my son did know the young guy.
Okay. Because I did also feel a great connection into this. Okay, there's my connection. Sorry to bring this through live on air. You'd understand he was a good time lad. He was a party lad.
And it was a party when it where it happened.
Right, and I did get the name Michael that connected to this, but I felt he was a brother as well. He's got a brother, as he's talking about the brother.
If I remember correctly, he did a brother.
There is a great picture of him with 3 other mates. He's got his arm around someone. He's the second one in from the bar. There's a picture of him abroad, and you can see that he's abroad. He's got the tan, and there's a picture of him, very, very young man, very handsome young man as he comes through.
I remember what he looked like clearly, and dare say it's not far from where I actually live.
Okay, I'll leave his love with you. Thank you for allowing me to get that off my chest. He's been buzzing around you. Why he comes in at this moment in time, I do not know, but he's very glad and pleased to have been here. Very pushy as well, by the way.
I think there's been some stirrings of actually the brother has asked the case to be reopened. Just come to me
Okay.
recently.
All right. Maybe we'll talk off air. There is something else, but we'll talk off air. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We are back in 2 weeks' time. In 2 weeks' time, we have another interesting interview with a paranormal team. We're going to have 3 members of that team here. Not sure how that's going to work yet. We might have to get them all into around one computer, but it's going to be a really another. Or we might be able to go individual, Richard's saying, so that's exciting. I know they've got a little bit of footage as well they want to share with you, so I'm really looking forward to that. I don't think we've ever done that before, interview a paranormal team, so that's really fantastic. Check out MSI Paranormal, guys, if you're looking. We'll have them in 2 weeks, but right after us tonight, we've got the wonderful Bill Hughes with another great guest for more mediumship. So, guys, have a lovely week and have a great weekend, and I'll see you back here again in 2 weeks' time at 6 o'clock. Thanks, everybody, and take care.
Thank you. Good night.